There we go. Hey, this doggo thought I was haying at him. There we go. There we go. We're live again. Yay, we're live. Yay. Yay, we're live. Yay. Yay, 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 yay. We like it. We like it. We like it. We like it. We like being live. We like it. Yay. We can say, hey, I'll say, at least, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again on another conscious evolution. Another opportunity for us to consider what it is we want for. You ever think about that? I think about that all the time, Melt. Me too. Me too. Look at us being in the same boat. I was wondering why it is we always want for more. I had a whole moment with myself today, realizing that most of the things I want have batteries. In fact, all of them do. I think that's in part why I consider myself technomancer too, is because I like my tech so much. Everything I want. Okay, not everything. I just realized. But it still requires electricity. And it could technically battery power it, but it would be redundant. Why do I want? Why do I want technology with such fervor? That's the question I ask. That's the question I wonder. What is it we want for? And again, there are many different things to want for in this life. Some people want for Gucci bags. Some people want for big old gold chains around their necks. Some people want for expensive watches. Some people want for supercars that cost more than $100,000. I don't want any of those things. Not even a little bit. The supercars maybe, but more like I would want to drive one and then give the keys back to whoever owns it, kind of thing. Right? That's how far my want for that experience goes. The things I want need to serve some sort of function. One of the things that I've wanted, that's at least what I'm thinking about, is to build. I want to build a full, what would you call it? Immersive experience. Sure. I want to build a full immersive experience, either for myself or for someone else. I want to use 3 short throw projectors. The cheapest computer that can run that many high definition outputs would be something like a M4 Mac Mini, which is relatively inexpensive as well. The projectors would be the most expensive part of that whole ordeal. Give or take. Give or take 8-ish thousand dollars. But I want to do that. I really want to do that. I want someone to give me $8,000 so I can do something cool for them. Come on, someone. Are you someone right now? Are you someone? No, Mel, stop looking at me. Okay, fine. I'll look somewhere else. Looks back. How about you give half and I give half? No, I don't have half of $8,000, Mel. Okay, how about we get 2 other people and then they give quarter each. I don't know people with that one. Let's go eighths. Surely, if I go far enough, all of my wants can be met. What is it I want for? I don't think I want for that much. All right. Short term, the things I want, I haven't stopped wanting an EUC. That hasn't gone away. That part of my brain is very much occupied. All right, so occupied. Uh, and I want a pair of earphones. That's been something on my bucket list, right? Like an actual good pair of earphones again. The last time I had a good pair of earphones, and to me, good means expensive, technically speaking, right? Relatively speaking, still cheap, right? There are earphones in the tens of thousands of dollars of ranges. I don't need something like that. I don't want anything like that. But $500, that's still no chump change. But you can get really good audio for that kind of money these days. Then I want a a freaking red light panel. To be completely honest, I want to shower while being baked by red light. That's something that I've wanted ever since I understood the whole mitochondrial activation thing that red light does. The bottom, the bottom of my little induction heater holder keeps getting stuck. It keeps getting dag nabbit stuck on my freaking Dynacap. And then it pulls the Dynacap off, and then it ends up heating it more than it's supposed to be. I'm rocking, but I don't think there's a way for me to solve that problem. I've been wanting to solve it though. Part of me is like, should I cut away at that rubber? I don't like cutting the things that I own. I don't want to do that either. You see, and I think that's kind of where today's stream topic is coming from, is that you can have these wants, and in these wants there is opposing wants. Or sometimes only so much room for one want to be met in a moment. Right? For instance, many of the wants I have, right, alongside, of course, the EUC and red light therapy and earphones, I would like all of these things to be powered by batteries that get charged by sunlight. All right, that's something that you friends know I've wanted for a long time as well. And these ones haven't gone away. No, definitely not. In fact, I find myself just more aware of what it is I'll let myself want. I think it was just 3 days ago where the conversation was had about car ownership a little bit, right? And again, everybody, I guess, wants a car, right? I don't think that's something that people don't want for, especially if you live in a country like South Africa or America, where things are inaccessible unless you have a vehicle. So there is this want created in your heart to have something like that. However, we had the conversation that day about it too. Upon really going down the rabbit hole of seeing what it's going to take, if you will, for me to acquire a vehicle. Even if I get myself an old beater, which I'm again not opposed to, I went down that rabbit hole as well and saw what options are available for different kinds of prices. I'll still end up paying essentially the value of the vehicle, right? To going on 3,000 US dollars just in fuel and insurance every year. Right? And again, I guess if you're earning $40,000 to $60,000, maybe a $3,000 expense to have a vehicle is worth it. All right. But I can tell you what, I don't want. That's where the want comes in again. I don't want to pay $3,000 of insurance. I don't. Damn it. Who does? I wonder. Who fucking does? I don't want to do that. And then I find myself stuck. Right? I'm like, there are these two things that I want at the same time. How am I supposed to reconcile? The way that I guess I'm reconciling in myself is that I have to give it some time. That's the lesson that I'm learning at the very least. Is that allow yourself to want things, but allow yourself some time in between the realization of that want, right? The whole delaying of the instant gratification thing. If I had, excuse me, if I had more disposable income, I probably would have a lot more stuff. No shit, Mel. Bear with me. But that stuff would proportionally probably be laying somewhere in a closet, not adding any value to my life. And I imagine I would have just then, despite having gotten many of the things that I am wanting for now, I would have just raised my bar, right, to look at things now more expensive, right? Suddenly now the vehicle makes more sense because yes, it's going to be expensive, but I can still afford it. That's still fine. I can want this and not let it, I can want this and my not want to pay thousands of dollars of insurance can be overcome by my want and my ability to want having the income. Right? And then that makes me very curious. Makes me so curious because I almost concluded that I don't think I will be buying myself a vehicle, at least not a car specifically, within the next year. Right? I don't see myself next year this time being a car owner either. I don't see it happening. Purely for the insurance. Purely for that. Like, I get it. I really do get it. But hot damn. I think the only way they'll get me to buy a car now is if it's new, under $30,000, and has very long range, 300 plus miles on a charge, and drives itself. All of those things at the same time, right? For under the $30,000 package. Because then, and then, like it needs to drive itself. Like I need to be able to sleep. And the government or whatever, the insurance companies need to be cool with that because of how good a driver the car is. Which means that ideally the insurance will be lower on that as well because I get to take myself out of the equation as a risk factor, right, for the driving of the vehicle. Wait, where are the peoples? The fuck? Here we are. Here we are, Sam. Every single person simultaneously on planet Earth. And there are so many things that all of us want. And I think in very large part, I was thinking about the whole political fractal actually, Sam. There's some hopeful stuff, right? The stuff that's coming out now. A lot has been released. It's still not making the difference that you would hope it would, but at least there is this somewhat airing of the laundry, right? And I don't tend to talk about that stuff here on stream. I pay attention as much as I can bear, kind of vibes, but I don't really talk about that much in this space. And I understand, right? I'm well aware that many people do want to talk about that. And they do want to watch content that engages with that fractal, that considers that. And I understand that in that way, my content leaves a lot to be wanted to some people. And I do plan on adding more to this space so that it could be potentially more entertaining, right? Leave you wanting less, if you will. But I am unwilling to change myself, right? I'll change this. I will. I was going to say, we are here, but it sounded creepy when I read it back. We are here. Everybody just sitting in the silence, just watching intently. We are here. Me sitting on my little soapbox, talking into the darkness, you know. Sam gets close enough for me to notice her face, and she goes, "Where is everybody?" Connor comes out of the darkness, goes, "We are here." Fades back into black. That would be creepy indeed. Yeah. Mm. Things to be wanting. So much to be wantings. I'm really digging deep into myself and asking myself, what do you want? What do you want? Certainty feels like the word is echoed in my mind. I want a certainty. I want to know. It says, I want to know. What do you want to know? Someone asks. I want to know that I'll be okay. I want to know that my friends will be okay. I want to know that if my friends are not okay, that I can help them. I want to know that if I'm not okay, my friends could maybe help me. Right? And that certainty, I think, is way more valuable than the actual money it requires to get there, if that makes sense. Right? It doesn't take millions of dollars to get to that certainty. Is it too much to want? That's the second question that arises. I'd like to believe that it's not. I'd like to believe that we are on the right trajectory. I was enjoying your words, but to answer your question, a peaceful life with a large garden. Yeah, you see, that brings with it a certainty, doesn't it? And you have to certainly have certain things in place. A large garden is no small feat. It's gonna cost money. One, in the acquisition thereof, depending on where you purchase your real estate, it's gonna be more or less expensive. And then there will be costs involved in taking care of the grass, irrigating it, the rest of the plants, having some sort of machinery costs money that cuts it. Maybe needing the labor to take care of it as well. In my mind, Connor, I imagine our robotics being very sophisticated 5-10 years into the future. And 5-10 years in the future, certainly, we could manifest enough abundance to be able to afford property. I am going to keep this tab open, friends. And I look forward to Pojo joining us because I do want to touch base with him as well. I don't know if he's moved to that new space just yet, but that could be another place that we could build a large garden, let's say. Bringing abundance. A large garden starts as a small one. We grow it. There you go. Yes, exactly. I have this whole idealization in my mind as well of having a good-sized greenhouse that has a bunch of berries in it, bunch of tomatoes and potatoes, Bunch of leafy greens, some carrots too. And I love the idea of it all being tended for by a robot, right? Making sure they stay unpestered by bugs, making sure that there's no weeds taking up precious resources. Highly sophisticated farm bot 5000. Mm. I get to, and technically it would be able to order seeds itself. All right. I'll have to sign off, I guess, but yeah, order the seeds, prepares the soil, plant things, keep stocking your fridge with them. Stuff that you don't end up eating, it automatically puts into the freeze dryer, powders it, turns it into some sort of soup mixes, keeps it stored. Right? And like again, human beings can do all of those things as it is right now. But we don't want to, do we? It's not something we want to do. And some people do. And I feel like that's one of the things that's beautiful about a community, right? Because some people do want to spend all day just tending to a garden, right? Some people do want to spend all day turning food that's going to go to waste into something delicious that will potentially last even. Some people do want to build things. But right now, it's not really up to us what it is we want to do. All right. We kind of have to take what we get. Yeah, isn't that right, little kitty kitty? We take what we get. You know. You know, yeah. You know. It's true. Kitty kitties know. Hmm. I think we want because we sense there is a need inside of us and just keep stuffing things into that hole to see if it satisfies it. But I also think that only a robust and sufficient educational spiritual life is the only way we can fill that need. I am in complete agreement with that, Sam. I think the part of me that almost like learned, if you will, from my spiritual experience, what it is I need is I've gone down that rabbit hole of, as you say, right? And I am actively still in the midst of my education. I am still trying to sufficiently educate my spiritual life. However, in this pursuit of my spiritual life, the the act of actually just going and moving through my environment, no matter how it is I do it, right? Uh, Before it was stolen, there was a scrambler here on the farm, uh, a like dirt bike, and I enjoyed that vehicle too. I hate how loud it was, and I hate the kickstart. It would hurt me, and I would hate the pain of using the shifting little lever. It is my fault that I was riding my motorcycle with sandals. Stop laughing at me. Sandals are perfect footwear for every occasion. Ride motorcycle, climb mountain, bungee jumping, sandals. Worky, here's Joe. Of course, Joe's here for my sandals fractal. The last time I was talking about the sandals fractal, freaking Sam made me feel bad about it. I was like, am I supposed to wear better footwear? I really do believe it. Part of me, Sam, wants now, like the whole, those foot shoes. I think that's gonna piss you off as well. I want those foot shoes too. That's also one thing I want. We're talking about wants today, Joe. It's nice to have you here. I wanted you here. Sending you lovin's. Hope the worky lurkins. The lurky workins is good. That you're enjoying what you're doing. That you're winning, getting them dopamines. Also, I think, bless again. I agree, Sam. We are but dogs chasing cars until we ask why. I believe it can be a dance. We flow from one thing to another. Just randomly did a cactus graft this morning because I found a lost seedling. So I put on my plant surgeon cap and did surgery. Bro, I was actually spending some time with my cactuses too today. I like touched them and everything. I have a new pup. I have a new pup developing. It's like just breaking out of the skin right now. Just. So much so that I want to like flick some of the skin away, but I'm like, I shouldn't do that. Should leave it to do its own thing. It knows what it's doing. All right. It's alive and well, and that's all that matters. Sam made me feel bad about it. Yes, dear one. I care about your ankles, so I gripped at you about proper footwear. If you felt bad after, it's because part of you realizes I'm right. Nope. Nope. Actually, I really do enjoy this footwear. I really do. However, you are right, nonetheless, about the fact that it's not the best. Right? Because again, I know especially as I walk for extended periods of time, there is like a little bit of like almost like your foot's doing this a little bit. All right? Of course, it's not exactly that, but you get what I mean, I think, if you wear sandals. Like my foot is gripping my sandal a little bit every time I'm picking my foot up. And that can be fatiguing on your foot. And it's usually in those moments, Sam, that I take my sandals off, right? That I don't want to be wearing any shoes at all. I just go barefoot. I step in thorns sometimes, but it's still more comfortable than wearing anything. So, what can I say? I enjoy wearing my ankle boots everywhere, but they're not practical for every situation. Ankle boots, like little booties that go up to your ankles. I had a pair of shoes like that, but they were also rehomed when I was in Hartbisput. And now you're making me think of sandal inappropriate activities to take you to do when you come to see me. I mean, I'm gonna be in America. I'm gonna be in America, Sam. I think for that alone, I won't want to, right? Since we're talking about wanting things, I won't want to wear my sandals if my toes are freezing, right? So maybe you'll get your way after all. I'll start being a shoe wearing type. Freaking shoes. I'm gonna have to like figure out some sort of spike system. And then copper spikes that attach to copper wire that wraps around my foot or something. Yeah, yeah, they are. I have a weird style, and they work for about 90% of everything I wear. There you go. There you go. You can't just wear ankle boots during every activity, Sam. I get it. For me, it's the same, right? But like instead of like 90%, 99% of the time I spend, the environment that I access is sandal accessible. And if it's sandal accessible, you can bet it's EUC accessible too. Nudge, nudge. Kobe helping himself to my seat. Oh, is there a sneeze coming? Okay. Think I've worn shoes for a total of 3 days. Maybe 4 days. This entire year. Those are good odds in my favor. Footwear. Are those foot forming shoes or foot shoes? Are they expensive? I'm gonna find out. Because that's again the problem with want. You're gonna want as much as you want, but you can only get as much as you can afford. Some stupid shit. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be profanitying. I'm thinking about want. That's the conversation that's being had right now. And I'm thinking about those foot shoes, those shoes that look like feet from the below. How much do they cost? And how do you get them to be... Okay, it already started.
You're most likely referring to
Vibram 5 fingers shoes. I suddenly want them less. Why are they called 5 finger shoes? There's 0 fingers in shoes. Right. It's toes. I was teaching that to 6-year-old Chinese kids. Even 6-year-old Chinese kids know those are toes. Hey, Darren is here with us. Bless you, bro. Whoa, synchronicity. There are 5 finger shoes by Vibram. That is pretty synchronictrix. They're expensive, but they're expensive for good reason. There you go. If you have standard looking feet with no weirdness, they should work and last for a long time. There you go. How about that? They are 120 to 180 US dollars. That is expensive. Yeah, that's pretty expensive. That would be more than I've ever paid for a pair of shoes. How long does an average pair last, and how sure can I be that it will fit me? Hi.
That's a very practical...
Stop blowing smoke up my ass. Zoom, 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 zoom. There are knockoff ones you can find on Amazon. No. When it comes to the stuff that I get for myself, unless I can definitively prove that the knockoff one is in fact better than the more expensive one, right? Or that the price differential, like I get like 90% of the good for 40% of the price, then I can kind of justify it as well. But I think with something like this, right, like the company that pioneered, if you will, that shoe type probably knows what they're doing better. I had a pair of those. They had a wider toe box instead of individual toes, but I found that I like that style better. That could be nicer, actually. You're right. All right, give you like a little toe nook. Individual toes can like move and get like squished sideways and stuff. So lifespan and durabilities. Typical use: 500 to over 1,000 miles for the running models, or 3-ish years with casual gym use. Wear and tear. They primarily wear out when the sole is worn through or the fabric on top rips. Care. Crucial for extending life. Always machine wash in cold water and then air dry them. Salt water, chlorine, and chemicals degrade the materials faster. Fixing them. You can put shoe goo on them. I'm not even fucking joking. That's literally the advice it gives me. By applying shoe goo to thin or peeling spots. Shoe goo. That's funny. I bet that those people paid to have the freaking name put in there or something. Glove-like fit. Forget the thumb width rule for traditional shoes. Your toe should fit snugly and comfortably into each pocket. Yeah, you probably have to like test these things. And I'm guessing you don't wear socks. You don't have toe socks, right? You wear them, you bare knuckle them, right? Is that how they work? I tried them when I was young, had to return them. I got a weird feeling, little toe, I guess. Sponsored by Shugu. Yeah, she has a cool name, right? But that like feels like very slipped in there. It's like, oh, fixing the wear. You can sometimes prolong the life of the sole by applying shoe goo. You can apply other things too, but it had to tell me specifically shoe goo. So yeah, that feels a little bit placed there. Why did you recommend shoe goo of all products? That feels like a product placement. Is it a product placement? See if it's gonna reveal to me.
That's a fair question. I recommended shoe goo not as a product placement, but as a widely
A widely available and generally effective maintenance tip, often discussed within the minimalist running shoe enthusiast community. Okay, all right. If you say so. That Stay Flexi calisthenics guy loves those toe shoes. I know a guy who had them, and those feet stank. Ooh, it's rough. It's rough. I get that they would love them, right? Again, especially from the perspective of having that body mobilities. I like my body being mobile. I really do. I probably would get myself some ankle boots like uh, Sam said as well. Like legit, I do like that. I had some ankle bootsies. I did say that, right? And especially if I'm gonna be riding EUCs, having some more ankle support would be helpful as well. Probably would be a little bit warmer too. Just checking if you got more here hiding behind your ears. Oh, you got a little. Whoa! This little bug decided to come and sit on me too. How dare he? They probably do it. They don't wear socks with them. Another notch in the buy the knockoffs column. Are there any imitation brands that are better? I'll ask.
That's an excellent question.
Stop telling me how excellent my questions are. I'm sorry. The freaking AI is blowing smoke up my ass, right? Like I remember just joking about it. Like I noticed it as soon as it started happening. I was like, oh yeah, I'm so great and everything. Yeah, sure. And now that I know that they're doing it on purpose, your hair is like sticking against me. It's like going inside my clothing and stuff, and I can feel it prickling me. It's prickling me a little bit, bro. All right. So the Vibram 5 Fingers is the original one. They have a variety of models with different sole thicknesses. Then there's the Paluva, a newer, less common competitor, specifically making 5-toe shoes. And then there's the cheap brands like the Saguaro and the Witten, very low price point, often found on Amazon. There you go. That's probably the ones you were talking about, Sam. Focus on sustainability and premium stylish designs, higher price point, everyday wear, casual, balance of performance. Conclusions. I want you. Please give me a price list comparison and how much of a footwear experience you get for the price in comparison to the actual high-end brand. This dude is like trying to sit closer and closer to me, and then he keeps like pushing up against my body, and then
That's
I'm
an
like,
excellent way to think about a
shh, 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 shh. And then I'm like, hey, oh, you're too close to me. It's so gross. I want to be grosser. I want to be grosser, sir. So gross. Yeah. There's no better place to be than right where it is I'm sitting. All right. Yeah, like all of them are not cheap. Not one of them are cheap. Actually, that Vibro Barefoot, which is like a an imitation brand, is more expensive. More expensive than the Vibrams ones. That's wild. Stop. Gorman and this principle. zero drop, thin sole, more accessible price, often cited as the best transition shoe because the sole is slightly thicker and more forgiving than the Vibram. Back the soles with a 5,000-mile warranty value, excellent price to performance. Huh. Still a Hondo Daras. But I mean, that feels like, again, that feels like 40% of the price ish. No, that's like 60% of the price. But you're getting about 90% of the performance. I'm guessing that, or let me see instead of guessing, that these are going to be some of those toe ones as well. So, I hate that. This thing doesn't allow me to freaking copy properties. It gave me a chart and then made that chart inaccessible by this creature. It's not giving me my personal space. A bug just started walking underneath him. There it is. It's here. It's right there. Probably dude that don't wear socks. I know that guy, Joe. I get ads from him about it all the time. Feed the dogs a tomahawk steak. That's probably not gonna happen. What's up, sir? Hey, Lucy. It's been a while. It's nice seeing you here. We got Mojo here too. Bless you, friend. Yeah, we got stuck. We got stuck in talking about wants, and amongst those wants happens to be footwear, right? I'm gonna see something. Huh. Those Vibro bare feet shoes that are so expensive are being sold here in South Africa at discount prices. Like you can get them for $100. Still pretty expensive. But relatively speaking, do I want to wear these though? They don't look like the toe shoes like the other ones did. These photos are taking a wrong time to road, but that's what they look like. They do seem to have something different going for them though. Oh, freaking bug just flew into my eyeball. Don't do that. Yeah, wants. Wants will consume your mind. What are your thoughts on India? I think India, like many places, have so much going for it. Has a very large population, has many smart people, but at the same time, many people in general competing for the same resources and environment. I think there's a lot of cultural differences between most of the world and the way that Indians do things. But at the same time, I know in the same way as it is everywhere, there are many unmet wants, right? Even unmet needs. Do think it's gonna probably be one of the superpowers of the future, though. So, whoa, there you go. There's one of those zero shoes. $120. These are a little bit more stylish. These are the kind of things you're talking about, Sam? You think I'm supposed to want these? Are these the ones to want? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Oh, please. Please leave me alone. Okay, now I don't want your shoes anymore. Freaking. Good answer. You earned a sub. That's nice. Bless you, friend. Look forward to seeing you more here in this space again. Kobe just got a flick. He was licking his family jewels way too enthusiastically close to. I don't want any of that. Of all the things that I do want, those are not one of them. What I do want to do next is show you a flower. I'm gonna be going for some walks. It's a nice walking day. It's not too hot. The sun is setting. There's some clouds there obscuring most of the direct sunlight. It was nice to spend this moment with your friends. Oh yeah, suddenly it echoed again. My brother bought himself a battery today. He sent me a photo. It's like, bro, look at this thing. It's on special. And then he got himself one. It is a very good deal. It's a whole kilowatt hour of energy storage for less than $1,000, $800. It's not that cheap. If you know, you know. A kilowatt hour of energy these days, of energy storage, of just the battery cells, without all of the extras, is very cheap these days. And that is why they're marking them down. But now my brother won't have to be without electricity when South Africa cannot do it. We get to store energies. I think it's a little Christmas present from him to himself. I think that's also in part what inspired today's conversation about all of the wants. I shared my want with him as well when he shared the fact that he wants one of those. He was like, "Oh, look at this. Isn't this a deal? I want one." I'm like, "Yeah, that's not too bad." And then he gets himself one. And the EUC I want is close to the same price. Very close. I'm watching a little hummingbird eat nectar. I would like to try and show you. I'll try anyway. But it's gonna be. There you go. I mean, you can kind of see it. I don't think it's actually a hummingbird. I think Joe told me they're technically called uh, bee eaters, a type of bee eater. These little burbies only eat nectar, but they don't do the whole floating around them to eat the nectar. They'll hold on to the flowers while they're eating them. But they do have those hummingbird-esque, like distinct long beaks and little tongues for eating. And those little petite bodies. Little kitties. All right. Once. I want to show you a flower. That's right. I want to read you a poem. It's true. This is what yesterday's piece ended up looking like. Whoa. One more featuring. Yay. Come back here. All right. The poem that went alongside, it was called Fun, My Heart Dies. Fun is a form of freedom. Some people move like the world is watching with a clipboard. I move like the world is watching in awe. Let them raise eyebrows while I raise my heartbeat. Let them stand still while I slip into a rhythm that's older than judgment, yet younger than fear. There is a happiness that only reveals itself once your body gets to speak. A language made of movement and breath, of sway and pulse, of pushing yourself just enough to remember you're alive. And yes, some will scoff, but that's only because joy looks suspicious to the unpracticed. I'm out here to celebrate the miracle of motion, the way a dance step can shake off a worry, the way a spin can remind you that play is still allowed, the way fun becomes a quiet rebellion against every voice that tries to silence. So I'll keep moving, not for applause, not for permission, but for that private spark that lights up the moment my body remembers it's more than a vessel. It's an instrument. It's a celebration. It's a yes to being here. And every step is another chance to choose joy over stillness and freedom over fear. It's nice to have you friends here with me. Kiefer, sending you blessings. There's a fly that is begging to have its life. It wants. It's communicating, I want to transition to the afterlife, Melt. Being a fly spirit has not been light on my soul. I would like to move on to something else. Did you know hummingbirds don't just eat nectar, they eat tiny bugs too? Get them some proteins. Wonder if they like one more than the other, right? Do they have a preference? I guess they would. I miss the flower, but I love this poem. Love is true. You should be able to skip back, but I'll show you for 1 second. Click on it. Thank you for joining. I did not know that show. This is neat. I love hummingbirds. I showed my mom and sister. I forgot the name already. A type of bird species that has this like bopping, where it like feels the pressure on the ground as it walks, with this long little beak that it like digs worms out if it feels a little soft spot. And it makes this meh, meh, opens its little mouth and makes meh. It's very cute. Very adorable. It was nice having you friends here with me. We read the poem. I showed you some flower. And now it will be time for me to say you a goodbye. To bid you adieu. To say farewell too. It really was nice having you friends here with me. We had company as loved ones and flies. Bugs and doggos and cats too. Mountains in the background, trees and clouds. It was nice being here with you. Thank you, very beautiful. I will skip back to see the zoomies. Bless you. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you friends again soon. Tomorrow. Love you. Goodbye, dear friends.